Hello,
Hello.
world. This is Ryan, aka Crownson's Corner. This is the Healing Chefs podcast. And today's guest we have, I'm going to butcher saying your name. I apologize, especially during Hispanic Heritage Month, Marisol, Marisol, aka Ms. Phoenix 420 events, as well as Nate with her. How we doing?
Good, good.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. It is still a little hot out there, and so I appreciate everyone making it here and whatnot. It's a little difficult sometimes, but so our first segment is cannabis journey. So we'll go ahead and play that intro, and we'll get. All right. So, Cannabis Journey, for anybody that hasn't watched before or listened, is all about how you found cannabis, how like what did you start smoking with, and where you're at with it now. So, if you could
Oh.
enlighten us.
So, ironically, I was a late bloomer. I was like what you call a square until I was like 22, 23. I
Okay.
was um I got married really young at 17.
Okay.
I was a military wife.
Okay.
Uh,
What branch?
Marines?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I
Me
was.
too. Not
I, I,
but that's
I was Army. Sorry. So. Oh yeah, thank you, Army. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I was told that Army stands for ain't ready to be a. Ah!
Ah, no, no. That's not doing it.
Okay, okay. But yeah, so that's kind of how we. I landed young in Arizona altogether.
Okay.
So I've been here for quite a few centuries now. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But after pretty much that relationship and 4 kids and 10.5 years later, um I I was just hanging out with different crowds.
Yeah.
So I started, smoking socially,
Okay.
and then I started understanding that I didn't have to take like the Tylenols and the ibuprofens and all the different stuff because I used to have like massive headaches
Oh, okay.
and migraines and stuff, just even in high school and just all that. And so once I started smoking, I was like, wait a minute, I'm not even medicating. Like, I'm even going to my checkups and I'm telling my doctor that I don't really need like the Vicodins and all that other stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And I've been on Vicodins since I was young, or just, different medications to
Yeah,
try to
different
get
versions. That
right
probably
perks.
Percocet.
Yeah.
Yep. See, the Army had me on that shit.
Right.
Whew.
So that's kind of, and I wasn't really a big pill popper, so I really would just take them like when I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And I dealt with that, I guess, even through like pregnancies and just trying to be a young mom and responsible and all that. But and the stigma too, like you said, it's Hispanic heritage. So even in my culture, you know, uh, it was looked down upon if you
Okay.
if you smoked marijuana because you
Okay.
were like a low life, or you were just, especially a
I've
female.
se- I've I've seen some of that working in different kitchens and stuff like that because I've
Mhm.
always been a pothead, and then some
Right,
of the Mexican people would be like, "This fucking guy," because
right,
I'd be
right.
high and I fuck up
Yeah,
or
but it's
something.
okay to do other stuff. It was cool,
Well, yeah, we won't get.
and it was like, no, but
Yeah, I
I'm saying
started doing
the
that
the
stuff too.
judgment, but the judgment wasn't the same, even in the crowds. And so as soon as and either way, I don't know, but it was more just because it really helped me medically. But by back then, I was in my 20s and stuff, and so it was still, it was illegal and just everything. So the stigma and just, but it was just more of a choice. Like, say fuck it, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's it's helping me, so fuck you type
Yeah, I mean,
thing.
you already got me taking crazy ass pills and whatnot. Like, why
Right,
can't I try this thing from the earth?
right. And so it was just more just learning about it more, and then just kind of get, like I said, turning into a whole different aspect of the crowd, and I went from being a square to just, I always say, I went from the good girl to the bad, and I was in the hood. I got, you know what I'm
You
saying?
got
So
you got a taste of the hood,
yeah,
man.
and then
Yeah.
instead I got to understand. Of course, I knew economics. My parents growing up had restaurants and stuff, so I always knew the business aspect of stuff.
Okay.
So that's when I was like, hey, well, I'm not just smoking a couple of joints, I'm smoking a lot.
Yeah.
So I need
Need to figure this out.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I know.
and that's kind of where it led into the whole aspect of making money and also medicating at the same time.
Yeah, providing for yourself,
Correct. And that's just
which the stupid government doesn't want us to do, but
correct.
we're gonna do it allegedly. We
Allegedly.
allegedly around here.
Correct. Yeah, and
This is satire.
right. And so, and that's pretty much how um it just evolved from there, and then I wanted to know more about it, and just because, like I said, it was helping me. Not only that, but even growing up with, in the hood, I saw other people on other things, and
Yeah.
I was able to help them wean
Nice.
off of hard drugs, not only myself but other people.
Yeah.
And so when they would come over, or I would see them, or just whatever, a lot of people knew me, so they would be like, hey, can I just, I can't, I need something. And so I would just be like, I got you, because
Yeah.
I made it to where I was able to bless people, and
And sometimes that's what they need,
right. Yeah.
because otherwise they're like, no, I want to use this money for the other stuff,
Right.
because I know, because I've been there, because I've been the one.
Correct.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing that you got
So
to do.
so that's
Yeah.
part of also, what's been, I guess, grown into what I do now, is just the passion about knowing, from young to old, how we're able to, just even if it's one individual at a time, we've been able to help people.
Yeah, I mean, we all have gone through things and go through things, so no one's perfect. So I mean, and the one thing, especially in uh my drug use or harder drug use over the years, the one thing that saved me once I kicked everything was weed
Right.
to keep me from going back and
Right.
whatnot. So
Yeah.
yeah, like
I
yeah.
I I mean, I don't know what all this is about, but it just, I mean, I have a lot to tell in the, in the just the journey of it. I mean, from, being and advocating for it, or just
Yeah, yeah.
standing up to it, uh,
Being an
against other
activist for it.
people, right? And I mean, and even with dealing with even CPS,
Oh,
when it was, barely, when with the first year it was recreational, you
oh, okay.
know and it was like into the second year of having my card, and I had to deal with all that. And luckily, I could say I'm one of the few that actually got my kids back from the system. you know
Yeah,
yeah.
I saw that,
So
and I'm proud of you. That's like huge, especially because I've been there. Like, people think like sometimes when you have like different issues and stuff like that, you're like a lower person or something. But then like once you kind of like get out of that shit, they're like, oh man, I was always there for you and shit. Like, no, you weren't. But like that's okay. Like, but that kind of
right.
builds the ability to like carry yourself. So
Right.
we don't need nobody. We all we
Right.
got. We all we need.
It's right.
Yeah.
And yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, just, I had to be the one responsible to stand there and be like, I got a medical card, but I want my fucking kids back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what do I got to do? And that's kind of where it made into even more of the advocation and learning the education, the laws, what they can and cannot tell you, what they
Mm.
can and what they do,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I've
and
pulled over all sorts of weird times, and they try to ask you like 20 times. When was the last time you smoked?
right.
One cop asked me. He's like, your car smells like weed. I'm like, I don't. He's he's like, "Well, how do you not know?" I'm like, "'Cause I'm around it all the time." Like,
Right.
he's like, "So if I was baking cookies all the time, would I not be able to smell it?" I'm like, "I'm probably sure you wouldn't."
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
but he had pulled me over and he was a detective, and I'm like, "But I'm not a detective." Yeah. I just stopped there, but I
Right.
about said that shit twice to him. Yeah, but I'm not a detective. But so,
Right.
but yeah, no, they're weirdos.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
I know.
And then learning a lot, and then knowing your parameters and stuff, and how you can operate within stuff
Right.
is key.
Right.
Unfortunately, sometimes we have to fall to find out how far we can jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the gray area.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, because never mind. We met back in the day at a place where they do thing, and then and yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
no,
yeah.
that shit's
And
fire. I just haven't done that in a long time because just have so much going on, and I don't really have the funds to like
right.
octopus right now.
Right. No, I get you. We're kind of in the same, how do I say, in a different focus.
Well, yeah,
So
you
it's
guys have like all sorts of events and stuff that you're doing too, though. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, and I mean we're part of a lot of the different like community events, a lot of the lowrider community as well.
that's what's up. Yeah, you're doing a lot for the culture and
Right.
your culture and stuff like that, and I think that's amazing because I don't. I mean, I see a few people doing it, but not to like the extent that
Right.
you put in work, and like every Thursday you're doing updates and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I pay
Yeah.
attention.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate that. That means
yeah,
a lot.
yeah,
It's a work in progress. But yeah, it's just I feel like a lot of our people, I mean even through the whole like cannabis journey and going, I really want to bring up Mike Weiser because
yeah,
I remember him all the time, especially going through different advocation and stuff because he
yeah,
really taught us a lot. And I get a little sentimental, but
yeah.
just because there's mentors like that
I know a lot of people that miss him.
yeah,
Rest in peace.
yeah, he just taught us a lot. And
Very kind.
and he literally like worked himself to death, for the industry or for cannabis, for marijuana, really. He used to always say, "Free the weed."
Yeah,
Uh, but just people like that, and what I do now, it's like what we've learned from people like that. That keeps me trying to advocate. And unfortunately, I'm not too much in the realm of the cannabis circle anymore, as far as like with industry.
yeah, yeah,
I kind of just started doing my own thing,
yeah.
and just representing where there wasn't representation.
Exactly.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it. As far as just representing for our people, and I don't want to get all segregated about it, but just more, there's really not too much representing
You
in
can
the
say whatever you want to. I understand. Like, it's number one, the cannabis laws have been racist. We'll go ahead and
definitely,
say that for sure. And
definitely,
like, there hasn't been a lot of people over time advocating for the Hispanics and stuff like that. So,
right,
and honestly, me growing up out here, going to middle school and high school, is and like Hispanic people taught me like the passion for life and stuff, like,
right,
and like all the different things, and like just hanging out and being like, it was good times. But like, yeah, so I'm glad that you're
yeah.
picking up some stuff. Yeah,
Well,
you
I
got that.
feel
You got
like
you guys. You got the Chiefers and all sorts of people going at it. Yeah, yeah,
yes. Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of us even in the state of Arizona, for there not to be representation. I mean, even now,
yeah.
even in the industry, I feel like even them having um Spanish information for patients in all these
You
dispensaries.
know
They
what?
don't have
No,
anything.
I've been a bud tender for a while.
And
Yeah,
that was my biggest thing even like 3 years ago. You know,
that's crazy. I didn't think about that because people come in all the time and they're like, "Oh, does someone speak Spanish?"
right.
And like, how do we not have people in the
Right.
like? I can hold my own a little bit, but like,
Yeah. And it's frustrating because I see people that only talk Spanish and they could be great customers.
right?
They could be potential, even
They
business
could
partners
be
or just
employees.
employees, correct? And that option it's not out there. for none of our people. And so that's something that I really want to, advocate for eventually. I know I want
What's
to.
up with that, people?
Yeah. I shout out to Allison Stein. So she
Was that normal rep?
normal, yeah. She just
I don't
got.
know your title. Sorry.
Oh, well,
It head of normal or something
I
or
think she just got
advocate
the
or a rep.
position of president.
President. That's right.
Right.
I just
So hopefully I'm looking forward to it, because honestly, like mentioning Michael, she was one of the few like us, and I could say me and Nate, that Mike kind of took under his wing, and he taught us a lot. And unfortunately, when he passed, they straight out said, "You said I could say anything." So they straight out told us that we're not, whatever you're doing, we're not gonna support what you're doing, because we're not Michael, and we don't support, things that are not legal, you know.
oh,
So
no
for
gray area.
right. So one thing I do want to, I pride myself to say, is that my events are solely uh by us. They're for the people, with people, and we work with a lot of even growers, home growers, um people that are not in the industry,
Right.
just because
People
of.
that need help, little representation.
Right.
Yeah.
And I pride myself in that, because unfortunately, everybody, and I want to say, if I want to do my uh, verification right, but everybody that does do events in Arizona, are bound to a DA licensing with a brand or dispensary of some
Yeah.
type.
Yep.
So that's one thing that I wanted to separate myself, especially after they told me that they are not supporting like they used to support, and how we we were downtown.
Yeah.
You were downtown with Michael. We were
Right.
downtown with Normal. We were out there like talking to this, like we were part of you guys smoking recreational in Arizona.
Huh.
Now you're gonna turn around and tell me in my face that
Who is
you're
this?
not supporting.
AZDHS or
Well,
just businesses?
whoever left and stayed with Normal after Michael
Oh, okay.
passed.
Not normal. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
And not only that, but just like the industry altogether, just different people,
Yeah.
the associations. Now that I didn't, wasn't around, or we weren't around certain people, then it was kind of more of it's like, okay, you're doing your thing. But it's funny because now in the past 3 years, you know, um, all the industry, a lot of the industry, you said I could say anything.
Yeah.
They've been gravitating to the lowrider community, and they're trying to get in or sponsor now, and they're trying to,
So
hit up
yeah,
my
so
people.
what you're talking about is what I call culture vultures.
Yeah, of
And
course.
it's a lot of like because a lot of people like myself, like you, we've all been in the gray area, in the clandestine kind of stuff,
Right,
and we kind of start doing stuff, and then they see it and they're like, oh
right.
shit, like
Oh
that's
yeah, what's
cool,
that about?
that's
Yeah,
cool as
that's
fuck,
cool.
man, and then they're like, okay, well, let's make that ours. Like
Right,
you didn't even put the time in to talk to the people
right.
or see what the like it's not, oh man, it's not
Yeah,
even all about image. Like
correct.
lowrider and stuff is all like that's community shit, like
Right.
helping out your fellow
Yeah.
man, not just
And
like
it's funny because
a
you
money
get to.
grab.
Yeah, and you get to see, even a lot of the different people that didn't know in the lowrider community about how the cannabis industry works, or like you said, culture vultures. Um, Once they got, now of course they're getting the hang of it and stuff. And I just say, even to my people, and I always tell, like, even the heads of a lot of the lowrider community, don't sell yourself out for cheap,
Know your
because
worth.
know your worth, because these people don't
They
they
don't care
they don't care, and they want you guys to show up with your cards and your business and everything, just because why? Like,
because it'll get them paid.
right.
That's it.
And
That's it.
it's, and to me, I'm sorry, but I'll cock block all day long, because they used to do that to me all day.
That you
So,
don't. If you don't think they're gatekeeping on you, like don't
oh, I
like.
got dispensaries
Yeah,
that block me on Instagram and social media. Like they're
there's so much
and
drama,
it's just
so much drama
funny.
in the valley.
Like, and it's
It's hard
crazy.
being soup DOGG. But I
What's
come
It's
up with
crazy
recipes.
because I try to support. I got people like music artists and
Yeah.
small businesses that reach out to me to support, and hey, can you, I thought you were going to be there. Like, you're like Miss 420, like, you're not, why, like, they hit me up because of you. They didn't even know who I was until I was at your event, and I did something at your event, and that's how they hit me up.
Jeez.
It's
This is
like,
this
and
is
I'm
just
just
so
like, wow.
convoluted. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So, stuff like that. And it's
So
just interesting, because it's like, um, how do I, after a while, you get tired of just getting a lot of the negativity and the doors closing on you. I mean,
and that's
people
why
have,
you set up your own. That's
right.
why
Yeah.
that's why a lot of us that end up in the things where we met and stuff like that,
Right.
and we're because we want to be creative. Like we love this plant, we love these
Yes.
things, we love having fun. We want to be able to do it and make a living out of it possibly in the future,
Right.
um, allegedly. But it I don't know, just there's so much like negativity. It's confusing because like I
Right.
said, like one of our last episodes is we all wanted everyone to smoke weed, right?
Right.
Now we have everyone smoking weed and now we're all mad.
Right.
We're all like, wait, yeah, we're like, wait a minute. We don't I don't want you to smoke weed. But you know what I mean? The
Right.
like people get like real mad and shit and like, you know what? I'm like, I understand you don't agree with a lot of practices and stuff like that. Or if you're in like AZDHS and all that weirdness, like
Mm-hmm.
if like they don't understand and it's gonna take time. But people need to be able to communicate. That's the biggest problem nowadays. No,
Right.
people don't communicate.
Right. I just feel like if the industry was open and they wouldn't be so closed minded, and they would actually want to build community,
To,
they should be out there marketing with community and doing things with community instead of working against them,
yeah,
or
like
working against us even.
exactly, like I didn't do before, like, I kinda was, like, just building my own kind of thing, and
Yeah.
I wasn't like, I didn't want anybody, like, promoting their self on my shit, or I didn't want them to be, like, doing some shit similar to mine, so I'd be like, "Hey, blah, 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 blah." But, like, if you just help each other, we can
Right.
all get there.
Right.
Like, no one's on the same path, no one's creating the same exact thing, just relax and you don't be greedy, and it'll be alright.
And it'll work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's kind of how, that's how I feel like, man, if they were to really work with us, like,
It could be
it
amazing.
could be amazing. It really could, instead of just, I don't know. I mean, I guess the greed part just kind of takes over.
Yeah.
Um, so that's
Yeah.
something, I really try to, like, focus on, like, with my events. Um,
Can you tell the people what events that you do real
so
quick, and then we'll
so
go.
I only do a few private events
Okay.
throughout the year. My two main events that we started with originally, now going on 6 years in December.
Oh shit!
That's funny.
Don't put energy drinks in your water bottles.
That was funny.
That was hilarious.
Oh gosh.
Now I'm all wet.
So
That's what she said.
shout out to
Shout out to Sin
Sin
City
City
Seeds
Seeds for
for spraying my face with drinks.
hey.
Hey. Pause.
But yeah, so
I met one recently. We'll just.
is that part of the cannabis section? Not just like
Uh,
so funny.
well, what part of what was going on was there was some sort of liquid involved.
Oh god.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. It's natural.
Well,
uh,
anywho.
but anyway, so yeah, so what I do is I have two major events really that have been going on for 6 years. Going on in December will be our sixth annual. It's called Las Posadas. So traditionally, in my world, work, growing up, Las Posadas, and what it means is just like the village getting together in the season, especially when people didn't have much,
Okay.
and then they would go around, and I don't know exactly the details of the story, but they would go around the village and make, like, kind of like stone soup. You know what I mean? Like
That's what
this
I
the
was about.
story.
That was exactly what
I
I
was
was
gonna say
thinking. Like,
it's
yeah,
traditionally like the stone soup story.
I got this. You throw that.
Right,
Bam,
you
bam.
throw that and you make it, and they used to do las posadas, which are the festivals throughout, and you can get into the religion and tradition and all that stuff. But I felt like to me it was just more of a like a party. Like
Yeah,
that's when you got together with people that had and didn't have, and
it's another thing that we've gotten away from in society is like getting together.
yeah. So I was I was a professional clown for 30 years.
What?
That a lot of people don't know about. Yeah. So that's kind of what makes me do the
The
events.
face painting.
The face painting. Yes.
I'm
So,
connecting the
yeah.
dots.
Now you're connecting the dots. Yeah. So I've been doing community events for at least going on 40, 35 to 40 years of since I was a teenager. I literally started I was a professional clown when I was a 17, and I was a married a teenager. I didn't know nothing about nothing military. I didn't have nothing to do with myself,
That's
And
crazy.
so we
Like
went
Steve-O. Steve-O was a clown.
yeah. So we went to this captain's party, cuz we were just and there was a clown there for their kids, and it was a beautiful house, and just the clown showed up. So, I'm 17, I'm a smart ass, I'm young, and they're like, I said, well, how do you even get to be a clown? Like what you got, who
Yeah.
does that?
Wait, wait.
And she looks at me and she goes, do you want to be one? She goes, I could show you.
I don't know. I'm kind of
And
scared now.
right. And I was just like, man, to know, like, yeah, just to know like that much.
A
And I
lot of,
was
a lot
like,
of creepy clowns
wow.
walking the streets nowadays.
Well, that's the
That
reason I retired, because
oh
so learning from like the actual like theatrical makeup and stuff.
yeah, yeah,
So that's one of the things. I was like a young, youthful clown,
right,
so I didn't have the wrinkles and the so that's kind of why that was one of the reasons I want my that part of my chapter of my life to stay that way. So I changed a lot of people's minds, people that were petrified of clowns.
yeah.
But then I also did have like big, like football player size guys that would like literally like ran away from me as soon as they saw me at like an event or
Nope.
something. Yeah. So it was, one of those. But I've been involved with just a lot of the community, in about maybe 20 years into it. I was really involved in Central Phoenix
Okay.
with the Phoenix Revitalization Corporation. The United Way actually sponsored my website back then when websites were like new to technology and stuff.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I mean, it was just a big thing. I've worked with the city, and just back then I was the neighborhood Sonny the Clown. So if
Okay.
anybody remembers back in the day,
Anybody?
Sonny the Clown. But yeah, and so that's what I used to do. And so but now it just evolved into me entertaining with cannabis and for adults. And
Nice.
honestly, 2023, since I've been doing events for over 5+ years with cannabis, we've incorporated this year. I've had two events with family friendly cannabis events.
Nice.
Um, and just because we have now, even with people moving from all different states, knowing that we're recreational and everything, I have so many even families that hit me up. They're like, "Oh, I moved from North Carolina, or I moved from New York," or different people, and they're like, "Well, we don't even have family here." So for
They need
you,
an in to get the
yeah.
weeds and do some
Well,
shit
and
in
then
like
they're like,
community.
"And we have kids. Like you guys have kids. Like, yeah."
Yeah. Okay.
And it's kind of like getting to know like
We can put them over there, and then we can go. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And then we've met people that actually have grassroots here also, that they're like, "Oh my god, every time we hang out with our family or our friends, we can't really like smoke with the kids, or we can't take them there because everybody like looks at us all crazy."
Yeah.
Or oh, we can't smoke around our tia and our tio down, or with the nana, so we can't.
Unless you want the chocolate.
Right. Yeah. And then like we go barbecue and we drink and it's cool, but they really can't spark it up. So
That's rough.
it's rough.
That's the first thing. Like I don't drink
Yeah.
anymore, but that's the first thing I want when I'm drinking.
Right.
I'm like, where's the weed though?
right. And that's kind of where, I feel like I keep breaking barriers. I call them barrier. I call them, because, and stigma, because now they see me and they don't just see a pothead, or, I feel like I'm still a bad mom, but I'm still like not that bad to where I'm like not giving a fuck about my kids.
Yeah,
I
it's
smoke.
all.
Yeah, I smoke around them. And that's one thing too. I got a lot of
There's
judgment from that.
That's a bunch of bullshit because you have like everyone that I'm meeting, well, just about everyone that I'm meeting, 90%, if not 99%, uh, keep smoke around their kids and stuff like that. Because you need to normalize it and shit, like, because otherwise
Right.
they're going to turn into something else. Real quick though,
Yes.
let's transition into the other, like the second segment, and then we'll do a
Okay.
quick break, but we'll just like talk about the next one briefly.
Okay.
The Trip Tales. Thank you.
That's interesting. Trip tales.
Oh, all right. Sorry, I was just checking on the phone for the next guest. So Trip Tales is all about, experience with psychedelics and whatnot. I have a lot of experience, especially after my nervous breakdown. And in case anybody doesn't know, I had a nervous breakdown back. It was about January, February, right around there. And I checked myself into the VA and stuff because I was going through it. And I'm trying to normalize all that kind of stuff. We'll talk about that. But with the mental health in the next segment. But I use a lot of ketamine, shrooms, and acid and stuff like that to to break myself out of the aggro person that I used to be,
Right.
especially having the PTSD and everything. What I noticed and found out through all that is you need to love yourself first, and you can't do it until you're ready to do it. So, do you have any experience yourself with psychedelics? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Not a lot of experience. But I tried it like socially, years ago, and then I feel like probably in the next past 3 years maybe we've medicated with it. We've tried it with different people. We've learned more about it. We've talked to a lot of people that actually like really um know like a lot of the science to the stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Are
I'm
you
very
one of those?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very well versed. I even have products that I could allegedly create that they don't know how to make them yet. But yeah,
Wow.
I know how
See,
to
and
get the
that's
extract to like almost a 90% from the shrooms and stuff. Yeah,
wow. See, that's awesome. Yeah. So,
science.
it's more just how to. It's like a whole level of like a whole chapter of learning. With from the even acid and the shrooms. Um, but there's so much education even now, documentation on how it actually is helping
Yeah,
a
and
lot of people,
how to
and
help yourself.
a
They're coming up
lot
with
of people.
clinics left and right.
Yes.
Like ketamine, that you can go and get that service done. It's extremely expensive, but well worth it.
Right.
Um, they're even doing shroom stuff now. I think they're legalizing shrooms or decriminalizing or something in Washington or no Oregon. I just read that, something to look into. But yeah, I think it's the next thing after
Yeah, I
cannabis.
think so too. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's kind of like the next level. And then
Yeah,
just like you said, learning how to use it,
how to
like
manage it and stuff like
right,
that, and
right.
that'll lead into the next segment. But we'll go ahead and take a break real quick,
Yeah.
and then we'll get into mental health as well.
Awesome. Okay.
Habari Entertainment Films present There's Only One Name for News with Damon and Iesha. Habari Live Podcast. Habari Entertainment, a race against time. On a quest for glory. Habari News Weekly, HabariEntertainment.com. Catch us for more. Visit us, HabariEntertainment.com.
As well. Yeah, please. Mental health as well. Do-do-do-do-do. I don't know. All right. So mental health is wealth is all about, how we handle all this stuff, especially now with all the drama and stuff in cannabis, whether you're in the industry, outside of the industry, or some part of it, you're gonna feel it at some point in time. But like I said, I've used a lot of psychedelics to help my mental health, and kind of one of the bigger things is I was like very egotistical, and that's something that shrooms and acid will definitely knock you down a peg or two and be like, that whole ego facade you've been putting on, you're so
Right.
cool. That depression is about your body being needing deep rest from the fake bullshit, that the facade that you put on.
Right.
So you
Right.
got your body's just going, no, I don't want to be that person anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how have you dealt with all the silliness and stress and drama of just life, really?
Oh, um, honestly, I feel like it's just I think you just gotta kind of remind yourself why you're here, you know. And then life hits you and realize that we could be gone in any second. Like there's a lot of different people we know, and then we hear about it, and I'm just like, dude, I just talked to them,
Oh yeah, I could have been
and
one of them. Technically, in New Year's, was hanging out with a girl for a little while. I was really depressed, and she somehow got me to try fentanyl. And I had passed out in the bathroom smoking it, and they said that I was out and I was against the door and shit. And I I woke myself up, luckily, and from there, they even asked me the next day if I wanted more. I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I don't know if I might have died right there." Like, so
right,
so yeah, like, be careful.
you're like, that's a cool. I'm
Yeah,
just
that
like,
was like, yeah, real cool. I'm like, I got to get away from these people. Like,
right,
I'm gonna die. Like,
yeah,
and no
yeah,
one would have known. No one knew who I was hanging out
right.
with. No one, no, no.
Well, I mean, and it's like mental health. I mean, and it's just like, how do we deal with it? Even me talking about how we're celebrating my 6th annual anniversary on doing events for and stuff.
Congrats.
Um, even then, a lot of people don't even know we've been homeless twice in those 6 years.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and it wasn't even because of hard drug use. It was literally because of a job or other stuff. So it's kind of like, wow, you know um
Sometimes, like a lot of times, mental health plays a lot into like money issues and stuff.
right,
Like
yeah,
even myself, I'm dealing with my PTSD and everything through the VA, and I'm like, y'all owe me money, so y'all gonna start paying me. So,
yeah,
but no, it's rough.
yeah.
It's rough out there,
So
especially now.
dealing, yeah, and dealing with family and trying to balance everything. It's hard. And I used to, so back then I used to laugh and be like, man, who stays on a schedule? You guys are crazy, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, yeah,
that's how I used to think. And now it's like I'm on a schedule. Like
yeah,
if I want to do stuff, I have to somewhat stay on a schedule. And people tell me, "Oh my God, you're everywhere," and I'm thinking, I'm really not, but
yeah,
in my head I am,
for sure.
and I guess I am in a lot of different places.
That's a good
Um,
point to make, because sometimes I buck the system and I don't want any schedule at all. I'm like, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
right,
And sometimes that doesn't work out, but other times, like you're saying, I need a schedule. Like I'm starting my diet now. I need to get on
right.
a schedule with my working out and stuff. And I've been slowly doing it, but
I don't know what a diet is, but I understand.
oh,
I just,
I just
I, I just,
clowning. But no, yeah, because I don't know. I just get into this thing in it with my head. Like if I don't work out and stuff, it's just kind of a my thing. And if I start eating a certain way, I get really sad and depressed and stuff. So I know what I need to do, and I'm doing that now. But like during the summer out here, you don't want to go nowhere.
Yeah,
It's so
you don't
damn
really want
hot,
to
so
do
you just
much.
ordering delivery or just running out and grabbing something that's already cooked because you don't want to heat up the house.
Yeah.
And then about almost wintertime, you're like, or fall time, you're like, wait, I put on some weight. So, but yeah.
Well, I gotta cook for like 6 or 7 people daily,
Oh
so
yeah, I've seen
so
all
it's
the
kind
food.
of like my family has private chefs. No,
Yeah, yeah,
but no, but now with my kids and stuff, it's 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 been a, how do I say, like an evolving change just because of how they're growing with what we're doing,
yeah.
and even growing into it because they're growing of out of being kids to into
Adulthood.
adulthood, and so they see the change, even, but just even with what I'm doing and the movement, they see it now. I even, a couple of years ago, they used to be like, "Mom, what are we doing?" Like,
Yeah,
like it's just all these people that just smoke. And I'm just like, yeah, that's, and they were like, but now that they see like all these other people gravitating to it, and like you said, the culture, or
yeah.
or the industry, they're like, oh wow, now they're trying to do it, mom. And I'm like, yeah, now
Yeah, and that's why like we're all trying, like those that are like have been down for like so long are starting to try to put our flavor back into the because they're doing all the smiley face and Walmart stuff and the
right,
dispos a lot lately.
yeah,
But then you see stuff like leafers and stuff like that with the
that are
real
actually
like the street
doing with the
with the
people.
people, the street art and
Yes,
stuff
with
like
the
that,
culture, and
culture.
and bringing out, you like you
And they're
said, the
focusing
people's
on Hispanic
talents.
people and stuff like that,
Yeah.
aren't
Well, they're
represented
they're
that
based
much.
out of
So Chiefers and stuff,
Tucson,
yeah,
right?
yeah, Chiefers
So
and all them,
that's gente right there. That's,
yeah,
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 I mean,
yeah,
but that's, yeah,
it's the
that's
people,
people
yeah,
right
the
there. So,
people.
yeah, shout out to them too, because I know they work a lot with um Isabashi.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's the homie too right
I work
there.
for Alien Labs, and one of the drops that they had a party for,
Right.
they had the food there. That was fire. It was
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah, so yeah, I met them a while back, and they were like, "Oh, um, they're doing something at my spot," and I was like, "Oh, for real?" And that's kind of how I even get to know them, like,
Yeah,
and
and they're and the all the way up. They're elite. Like I was just talking to
they put a lot of work
Chief
into it.
Charlie. I was just talking to him because him and I like the Abundant Organics rosin Paradise Circus because of the Tropicana cookies in the thing.
Uh huh.
And I'm like, bro, you're an elite level. You're a goat, dog. Your palate is elite. And he's like, I'm not. I'm not easy cheapers for no reason, dude. I'm like, when you're right, dog. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I
like,
know.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but even them, like, it's good to see, like, even throughout just these years, how to see certain people, and even now, some people
oh,
are
shout
still
out Tito Roadrunners.
okay.
Sorry,
Okay,
my bad.
yeah, yeah. But just people that have been around for that long, and longer than us, and just they're still doing their thing, and they're still, and then there's a lot of people that have fallen through
Yeah,
and haven't, fallen out
yeah.
of.
We've seen it a lot of these different shows and stuff. Like
Right,
people start to go, like even myself, and then other people like stop.
right,
Like I stopped going to some of the shows and stuff
yeah,
like that, but I didn't stop.
right.
But some
No,
people
no,
just
they just
stop
stop.
because they
Yeah,
just
yeah,
get
yeah.
like just like disenchanted with the industry,
Right.
and they're just like, nah, dude, I'm
Yeah,
good. Like,
yeah.
I'm
And
not.
then I see a lot of
It's sad though. You kind of give up
people
your
that have
creative thing.
beefed up and built their social media within their own, like, themselves and their little brand or whatever, and then as soon as they get hired by an industry, and they sign away their, like, their,
Yeah,
and it's like, wow, like, you were doing so good, and then you just,
yeah, they break you.
and it's like, man, and
That's why if you've seen, uh, it's gonna get weird.
it gets weird.
Curaleaf,
Oh, I saw that.
striking for the union
Man, I
and
wish I would
whatnot.
have known. I
I
honestly would have
wish,
been there, bro.
I
I honestly, I
wish
would have been there.
when I was a bud tender,
They would have done it
they would have unionized then,
then.
because
Yes.
as soon as they went to pooling all the tips and stuff, they took hundreds of that, like they took thousands of dollars out of my
I bet.
pocket.
Yeah, we used to have friends. They used to they were like, I'm not even going for the pay.
No,
I'm going for the tips. And I was like, what?
I was making
Yeah.
$100 to $400 a day in tips
Yeah.
minimum,
Right. Yeah.
and then y'all took it
That was the cool
and
part
started
about
paying
being
each
a
other,
bud
paying
tender.
yourselves,
Yes.
and taking the tax write offs.
That's messed up. And then on
Boo.
top of it, it's like, where does it go?
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen it because we used to volunteer.
but
Like we used to volunteer for Earl. We used to volunteer for normal. We used to be like all gun ho about
yeah,
and excited, enthusiastic, and we see that in the people that are barely like getting to know. And I'm just like, God, I wish can I wish they don't lose that.
yeah.
Like, please
You've
don't
only
lose.
just begun.
Right. And then I've met people that I'm they're like, oh my God, I heard about you, but how come you don't go to those places? But they're always saying your name, and I'm thinking, wow, that's good.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, maybe things that changed here and there at different places, because there's some, I mean, gatekeeping people,
Of course.
and sometimes if someone catches a bad feeling about you, it's never going to change. So I
Right.
don't know. There's some real weirdos out there,
I hate
and
hard feelings though.
yeah,
I'm not bad. I'm a bad person in that way.
huh.
But it's just because I've had 9 kids, so I just don't put up with too much BS and
Well, we ain't got time for BS
right.
nowadays.
Yeah. So, and a lot of it's not even that it's making money to make sense, but it's got to just make sense to get somewhere.
For sure. Like I gotta, like, I'm so busy nowadays with everything. If I'm doing something, it has to be for a reason, or like a
Right.
purpose, or
A purpose,
like,
yes.
even if I'm like hanging out with a lady or something like that, like we may be even working on business together. It's like I'm multitasking. I may be like
Right.
hanging out with her and like editing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But um, we're single right now. But if you
Shout out any guys.
shout out to any girls who want to date. If you want to date, make sure that you're emotionally ready to date and you can communicate. Like if you can't communicate and talk about the hard things, don't talk to me.
So
No.
everybody, guys who's watching, we got this güero right here looking for a Hispana.
Yeah. I cook too. But
Hey.
I just need someone to do the tamales because the ladies don't let you in the kitchen. But yeah, no. We'll go ahead and jump into our last segment, which is plug talk.
Plug talk.
I stay like a refrigerator, cold and plugged in. Write it down. I'm from St. Louis. You can't spell hustler without the STL. I'm teaching you how to spell.
Shout out to Cannabliss.
Oh, shout out Cannabliss.
Yeah, shout out Cannabliss. She posted something. She said, I identify as a potato baked and I like to get smashed.
Ah,
I was like, oh my gosh.
I love potatoes.
That's right.
I'm a
But
steak and
shout
potato
out.
kind of a guy. So plug talk is all about doing promotions and whatnot. If you want to promote anything, and then I'll kind of do whatever I have, my silliness.
So we've got different events coming up. As far as I'll be posting on my social media. We do represent the Arizona Cruise Council.
Yep.
So
I'll start. I'm gonna over the week. I'm gonna put up. Over the week, I'm gonna put up the different links and stuff on that you sent me for those different things. Yep.
yeah. So and that's just more like it's a group of community members
Okay.
that was built just to advocate and pretty much connect with government and official entities so
Okay.
that we can continue to cruise, continue to work.
Yeah, because they were trying to shut it all
Oh
down.
yeah, they were trying to shut it all down in Glendale, and that's kind of how it arose.
Yeah.
And so just to continue that, we're doing that as well. And then we did officially announce a couple months ago that we do have our nonprofit Sunny's Project.
Okay.
So just throughout everything, like you said, working and doing other stuff. That's more Nate's baby.
Okay.
Um, so he created that,
All right.
and just because we want to establish more to be able to help community,
Yeah.
especially in the cannabis community. We met a lot of different people, from cancer patients to just
And
elderly
non-users.
fentanyl users,
Yeah.
uh, and that we
Go green. Fuck the
yes,
blues.
correct. Yeah, and that's one thing that we want to hopefully in the next year establish, so that we can at least provide education, advocacy.
Yeah, they need to like focus on shit like that. Like you need to have like stuff for people that are going through that are like
Real
really
education.
real education,
Right,
also heavy dose shit
right, right,
because they're used to some heavy shit. So you need to kind of like balance them out and then you can fucking reel it
right,
in and shit like that. But
right.
yeah.
Well, and the thing is too, I've met actually, and somebody that I know personally, and I literally saw her grow up from a young teen to a young mom now, and I hadn't seen her for a few years, and she was telling me her story on how she got hooked, and but she said, but I'm clean now. She goes, but I'm going to um methadone,
Yeah.
and I said, oh, did that help? I said. And she
No,
said,
it just
"Well,
continues the
well,"
problem.
she said, "I've been going for 6, 7, on 7 year, my 7th year." And I looked at her and I said, "That is not help."
That's not
I said,
that's
"Oh
just
my
another that's
God."
just you doing another drug.
Right?
Yeah,
And
and
then the
they're
state
the money
profiting
is
off of it.
ridiculous. Yeah, I used to know somebody that had to go do that and I was just
So
like,
so that's one thing we know. Like I said, personally, it's hit. We've weaned. We have teenage boys.
mhm.
We have 4 teenagers at home right now, and so even throughout maybe the past 3 years, even when we started, we've weaned some of these teens off of perks,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
cuz they glorify it in the
off of
music and
meth, off of
everything.
heroin.
Yep.
So, and these are teenagers that these are my kids' friends that they go to school with, or the kids that they're not going to school no more because they're on
Yeah,
something. And
it's too easy.
so I want to say it's a nice handful of young kids that we've helped ourselves. And so for
Okay.
us, we want to build more, establish
Okay.
something for our community. And then I'm having a spooky medicated. That's a black and white party.
Okay.
And we do like a puff and paint, and we have a
Ah,
whole medicated dinner.
nice.
October 29th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Halloween time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
nice.
also we're involved in it's a
It's always
Flesh Fex. So it's a boxing event.
Oh
It's
yeah. No,
yeah.
I think I said something about that recently because there's some drama going on. I'm like, if
Yeah.
anybody don't like me, you can go ahead and call me out. I'll lace them up. It's
Yeah.
all for fun anyway.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
we're
We
gonna
used to like if
have
we had problems in the army, we just lace them up going to the gym and just
right.
you're either gonna beat some ass or get your ass beat,
Yeah.
but you're gonna
They
be
do that in
alive
the
at the end of the day.
military.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing. Shout out to High Class Promotions and High Class Car Club
Awesome.
Phoenix, High Class Car Club Phoenix, Car Club Glendale. There's a couple of them, but
All of them.
yeah, all of them, they're great. They support the community. A lot of these.
Oh, you want to show you got? Do you make these or?
No,
Oh,
one of our people out there, one of our canna friends
that's
makes
dope.
these.
And then to the
And
camera.
yeah,
There
and
you
they
go.
turn on. They have lights
Oh,
inside.
nice,
So
dope.
at night when you're at like a sesh, or
Yeah. Like
you light up, you
kind of
can
like
actually see your
the other ones like I've seen like the
yeah.
light up ones, but I like that.
Yeah,
That's
so that's
custom.
pretty cool. Yeah,
That's
it's
dope.
custom. And she put my logo on it. I have another one that she puts all the different pictures of my event, like my purple party.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
talk about those people too coming up in the future. Get some more people on here. But
yes.
then you have the our colors for the Healing
Yes.
Chefs, but the bandana roses that you do for people, which is nice. I've seen that
Yeah.
quite a bit.
So that's what I do as like in the community. So I vend flowers.
Mm.
Get it?
I get it. I
Uh,
get it.
so so yeah.
Yeah.
So they're like, "What do you sell?" I'm like, "Flowers." And they're like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Oh, but you're Miss Phoenix 420." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Here's your
So
flowers.
get your flowers, but no. So it's
I'm
more
glad I got
just
my flowers while I'm still alive.
right. But because I was doing a lot of different community events, we started with like food and different stuff like that. And where we met, we were
Yeah.
doing the food
Yeah.
in those different events,
Hmm.
and so that's kind of we were just catering, into that. But then when COVID hit, everybody and their mom decided to be entrepreneurs.
Yep.
You know,
Everyone's like, no, I don't want to go to work for
right.
you no more.
Yeah. And then everybody was trying to like sell tacos and sell snow
Everything.
cones and sell whatever. So to me, I was just like, I'm not doing all that. Like,
Yeah.
and then I had to incorporate something that I could put away and it had shelf life and
Yeah.
it didn't go bad. And then I could bring it out and sell it again.
Okay.
So I would see like different t-shirt vendors and hat, and whatever different. So I'm like, so these roses, I've known how to do those since I was a teenager.
Okay.
Uh, the the story. We were at a domestic violence shelter when I was young, and there was this group of ladies that would come into the shelter and would show different classes.
Hmm.
So they would teach floral classes. So I was a teenager, and I only did it for like a month that we stayed in that place. But
Yeah.
I picked up a lot, and I picked up how to do those roses.
That's nice.
And it wasn't originally with bandana. I incorporated the bandana almost going on 3 years ago
Oh, okay.
because I started doing the lowrider events.
Well, yeah, and culture,
Yeah,
and
and
then
the culture.
flowers, and
And to
then
me, I'm just like,
flower, and
man, what do
yeah,
I do besides sit here and just face paint? You know, because
yeah.
I'm already paying a vendor fee. And
That's
I'm
expensive.
and to me, I'm just like, and I'm not really gonna get all the licensing to sell all this extra shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, because we're only doing it once in a while. It's not
Yeah,
like it wasn't. This is to me, I see it like a seasonal thing. It's seasonal or occasional.
yeah.
So it was more to that, and yeah, and it's been a hit of I've got people that are making them now
Awesome. Yeah, we
and stuff. Yeah.
got the
Cultura,
magazine,
yes,
Cultura,
Cultura magazine.
all that
They
kind of stuff.
sponsored our event.
Got your
That's really
gummies and
big.
stuff, and then
Yes, we do all kinds of this. So we infuse anything pretty much. So
if you can eat it, you can
you can
infuse it.
infuse it. Yes.
And real quick, I know this is upside down. I didn't know this was upside down the whole time, but shout out to Agricultural Allison and Pause Consumption for their events going on.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else? Because I'm going to jump over
No,
mine real
go ahead.
quick,
Go
and
ahead.
then I appreciate you guys
Thank
coming
you so
out.
much for having us here.
And we'll have you back again for sure. But for me, what we have going on next episode is True to the Movement, and then I'll go into the future of that kind of stuff. I'm also giving a bunch of my lanyards and stuff.
Yes.
So because you do or someone
Miss Vicky.
Miss
So
Vicky is going to turn this into a pillow.
yes.
So if you guys have these, which I'm sure you all do, tap in and we'll show you exactly what it turns into. I'll bring it onto the podcast and
I
whatnot.
should have brought the pillow.
It's okay.
But
No,
we'll
we'll
have
show
to
them.
bring those.
We'll
Yeah.
show them. But
Yeah, definitely.
there's
Shout
that.
out to Miss Vicky. She does CBD soap as well. She's mother of cannabis is what she's known for.
Nice. We'll get everybody tapped into all that stuff. In the next episode, I'll go over this stuff, but I have some stuff from Sin City Seeds wearing their shirt and everything. We got a lot of cool stuff going on. And I'm going to have somebody actually grow some of that stuff for us. So thank you very much for both of you coming out. It was a great time. We've learned a lot. And again, we'll have you back. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you so much.
Remember, be good, be clean, be safe as always. And tap in, smoke up, trip out. Bye.
Bye.